Hello, good morning. Welcome back for those who have been with us during the first webinar, and a fresh welcome to those who have just joined us. This part of the workshop is going to focus on specific international tenders. We are going to hear from 8 public bodies that are currently using public procurement of innovation to solve their challenges. I'm Anna Monistrol. I work at Acció, from where I lead our activity around public procurement of innovation. And for those who don't know us, Acció, or Catalan Trade Investment, is the government of Catalonia's agency for foreign investment and business competitiveness. We promote innovation, internationalization, trade, and the funding of Catalan companies and startups. Thank you very much for joining us today. My co-host Julia will now present our agenda for today.
Thank you so much, Anna, and hi everyone. I'm Julia Struble. I work at Acció with Anna, but from the London office, which is one of the 40 offices that Acció has around the world. And from here, from all the different offices, we scout for opportunities such as the ones that you're going to hear from today. So let's go see what we have in the agenda. First of all, we're going to hear about how our organization, Acció, is supporting public procurement of innovation. And then we're going to start hearing from these opportunities. We're going to start with market consultations. We're going to hear about 4 market consultations from Finland, Japan, Spain, and Austria. And we will have time for a Q&A session, 10 minutes for questions and answers, so you can ask our speakers. After this, we will hear from 4 open tenders, in this case coming from Spain, Japan, and Ecuador. And again, we have saved some time for you to ask questions directly to our speakers. For questions, we invite you to use the Q&A, the questions and answers section that you have on Zoom here below your screen. And yeah, this is it. We're all set. So Anna, can you please explain how Acció is supporting public procurement of innovation?
Of course. We believe it is one of the top strategic public instruments because it means a 2-for-1 deal. It's an opportunity for public entities to improve their services to citizens, and at the same time, it promotes innovation in the market. For companies, it is a good way to develop new products or services with the support of a public customer. This is the reason why we invite innovative companies to present their offers to these tenders. If you are interested in knowing what opportunities are open, you can scan this QR code and go to our website. If you click the yellow button, you can download the list of live tenders. Our offices around the world are instrumental to connect our Catalan companies to these opportunities. They actively monitor these tenders at a national and international level, and we publish them on our website. We update it on a weekly basis. So far in 2020, we have identified 400 opportunities from around the world, 250 of which are public tenders of innovation. Right now, there are 150 live opportunities. Live meaning tenders that are open to be launched soon or going through market consultation. Once a Catalan company is interested in an opportunity, we can assess them on the best way to approach the tender, and we can help them find the right partner if required, so they can present stronger proposals. We do so through our offices and through the European Commission's Enterprise Europe network. We are a hub of the network in Catalonia and are permanently connected to the many hubs the network has around the world. Many of you will be familiar with the B2B networking events the Enterprise Europe network organizes around the world. An excellent example of this is our annual brokerage event during the Smart City. 500 participants have signed up this year, and over 800 meetings have been pre-arranged. Having said this, I hope you find today's workshop inspiring, and most importantly, I hope that public procurement of innovation is a window towards new opportunities.
Thank you so much, Anna. Indeed, we have prepared this year a catalog of opportunities that gathers 13 projects from all around the world, from public bodies that are using or planning to use procurement of innovation as an instrument to solve their challenges. You can see on your screen that we have left a QR code where you can download directly the catalog, but it's also on our website. So today in this section of the workshop, we're going to hear from the most mature projects of the catalog. We will hear again four projects in market consultation and 4 that are open tenders. So what's the difference between the 2 types? It's just that one is more mature than the other. So the market consultations are earlier projects, but are extremely interesting for innovation suppliers because at this point you can engage with the future buyers and exchange information to let them know what the available solutions are in the marketplace, so you help them shape their future tenders. And once they've opened the tender, the open tenders, this is where the requirements have been settled, and the companies, the solution providers, can already present an offer. So let's start with the first block of presentations, which are the market consultations. Again, here the PPI, the Public Procurement of Innovation, has already been created, and the public institutions are doing some research to find what solutions, projects, technologies are already present in the market. This stage allows them to economically evaluate the future tender, and they are announcing their future tender. So they are reaching out to potential suppliers. In this section, we're going to hear 4 projects. The first one coming from Finland, Ms. Kaisa Sibelius is going to present it. She comes from the Forum Virium Helsinki. Next, we're going to go to Japan, hearing from the presentation from Mr. Tak Nagumo from Smart City Institute, Japan. The third project will be presented by Mr. Juan Echevarria Cuenca from Santander City Council in Spain, and also by Javier Grueso, Mr. Javier Grueso from Consorcis Sanitari Integral. The fourth project, the fourth market consultation, is going to be presented by Mr. Klaus Kodidek from City of Vienna. So please, Kaisa, take the floor.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, I'm doing something stupid things, but let's share this presentation here. Can you see it now? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, good day from Helsinki. And I'm Kaisa Sibelius, and I'm coordinator of this AI for Cities project, which is lead procurer is Forum Virium Helsinki, and I'm working there. And Forum Virium Helsinki is a development company owned by the city, and the main task is to help the city come more to create a new digital services for the city and for the citizens. So, and in this AI for Cities, the purpose is to support cities' targets to become carbon neutral, and we have decided to add AI technology, artificial intelligence technologies to this procurement, and we have also divided this procurement to 2 different tracks, which are mobility and energy. And as PCP general, the idea is to find solutions which are not market-ready technologies, and this is a development project for the companies. And why we have selected that energy and mobility as those sub-challenges. So the reason is quite obvious, because the domains, these domains have to be selected for that reason, that they are the biggest sources of CO2 emissions. The average in Europe is 84%, but in Helsinki it's even higher. It's 95% of those emissions come from those sources. So there was the reason. And why we have selected AI into part of that project. So there is when the cities have set these goals, they have been they are looking for more specific and measurable goals and evident. And it has also become evident that the scale and volumes of the interventions have to be higher than expected. And the pilots and interventions are at least district-wide or even city-wide, they have to be. And this has raised the demand of utilizing data-driven methods on improving resource efficiency. And while the amount of the data increase, big data and AI are seen as elements having significant role in the data platforms of the cities. And the role of AI can be seen larger than simply delivering algorithms that solves the defined problems. AI can help the track expectations in source data, preventing incorrect decisions, identify bias, or even deliverable attempt to affect decision making. As enabling technologies and platforms become easily available and mature, the role of the project can focus more on supporting the development of applications for target domains. Even if the actual core problems does not require artificial intelligence at all, AI can be beneficial in improving the quality of decision making, and it's up to tenders to include such meaningful role that is mandatory in order to be successful in the process. And merging physical city public assessments like infrastructure or public transportation networks within the digital layer through the use of AI with other enabling technologies can utilize new solutions to solve climate change challenges. And then the last thing is that open source distributed system, reusability, and open data models are vital elements of creating future ecosystems that will benefit products based on AI technologies. And the AI models themselves need to be explainable, transparent, and reliable, and provided by trusted actors. A successful solution in our PCB will go well beyond of the state of the art and the minimal solutions to be stated problem. And then a few words about this project as self. So it's a 3 years project, and total budget for the PCB is 4.6 million euros. And in our buyers group is 6 cities. Helsinki, which Forum Virim Helsinki is presenting, Amsterdam, Paris region, presented by Cap Digital, and then the city of Copenhagen, Tallinn, and Stavanger. And ICLEI is our partner, communication partner. And then now we are ending our phase 0, which is that open market consultation phase. And my idea was to tell you a little bit about this phase, because I think that this model of the PCB is quite familiar to all of you. So in our case, it's in 3 phases, and we will end in that phase 4 as well, where we are distributing the results of the project. And what are the goals of that open market consultation is to achieve a holistic view about the solutions and what's in the market at the moment, and what is the state of the art. And in addition to that, also to engage already relevant companies during this process, and define together with companies these functional and non-functional requirements, in our case for these mobility and energy lots. And then to start promoting the project and its goals among different audiences, and start recruiting also the cities to our preferred partners group, where at the moment we have 10 cities. And then some activities which we have done is that we had a global webinars and local webinars, and also boot camps where it was like an interactive events where we invited companies to apply, and from 90 companies we selected. It was quite successful that, and we got 90 applications, and we were able to select approximately 40 in total today these events. And then we have published the surveys for the procurers, that are the cities mainly, and the suppliers. They were not maybe so well known, and we didn't got so many replies as we were waiting for. But despite of that, we have got audience from quite wide range of countries, and of course those countries which are participating in that project have been dominating these participants, but despite of that, we have got even in the other continents as well. So and then some recommendations which we found out, that because we have been working during that COVID time, we haven't not been able to organize any live events, so we are only working in the online. But there is pros and cons. The good thing is that we have got this wider audience comparing that event in one place, but on the other hand, this communication and dialogue between the companies has been quite limited, and people are not commenting or asking so much in this kind of online events. So it has been quite limited feedback directly from the companies for that reason. And then just in case that I would like to show you this is example from Helsinki, that what kind of data and AI resources we have and which the companies can use. One of those is that Helsinki Region InfoShare, which is quite unique platform collecting different kind of data sets from around this area. And it has been a pioneer since 2011. It has been established. And also Helsinki has created different kind of 3D models for that planning purposes, and digital twins, which helps companies and other entities as well to make these plans in that real life conditions. And one specific database is that called Nuka, which is the collecting energy consumption data from the public buildings. And then one brand new thing is that Helsinki, together with Amsterdam, has established the AI registry, where we are going to collect all kind of information about those algorithms and data processing, and it's confirming algorithms before they can be used, and then they are available in the future also the executing of the other cases. And then in Finland there is a National Land Survey of Finland, which is the all kind of maps, and Finland's geospatial data and maps are available for free and open data as well. And the Digitraffic, which is collecting that data, same open data from the public development of Finnish roads, the railways and marine traffic around the whole country. And then just how we found out in the end, this is our conclusion for that open market consultation, that we defined 3 sub-challenges per lot, and then addition to that, a wildcard, which means that companies can also suggest something totally different as long as they are related to mobility or energy, using AI and reducing CO2 emissions. So we are looking for very wide range of solutions in here. And what's happening next? The biggest step will be the 1st of December, when we are publishing the request for tenders. And after that, we are going to have 2 requests for tenders webinars, first in December and second in January. And also online matchmaking event for the companies, where they have 5 minutes time to pitch their need or service, and when they know that what kind of partners they would like to get on the consortium. And in January also we are organizing a webinar where we are explaining and helping companies to write a good tender to us. And then question and answer section in our website is also available. We have already tried to answer different kind of questions coming up, and for example, host those webinars and publish them to help companies to understand better the process and those challenges as well. Okay, but I think that was my part. Thank you for your attention, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Kaisa. Really interesting. And we see a market consultation that is very mature. It's actually opening very, very soon. So now we're going to hear from Tak Nagumo from Smart City Institute, Japan. Please, Tak.
All right, thank you very much. I'm honored to be here today. So I'm going to talk about Super City Initiative. Let me share with you the slides. Let me know when you get the slides. Is it on?
If you can put them in presentation mode, much better.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Excellent.
Here you go. So you got a slide, right? So let me start. So the Super City is the super smart city. And as long as I've been in this smart city industry, this is the most innovative initiative Japanese government launched back in October 2018. And the tender process will begin in this December. So it's almost to come. And the key point of this initiative is that not a single solution is enough. It's going to be multiple digital solutions must be concurrently implemented by the consortiums of the private and public and academia entities. And its requirements is pretty much specified. So I would like to talk about, to be qualified as the super city, what needs to be met. So these are the expectations. So the purpose is to showcase holistic future state of Japan, a city in Japan in 2030. And as I said, 5 digital solutions must be implemented concurrently. And most importantly, the project must be based upon the needs and wants of the citizens, not the technology for the sake of technology. And side approach is no longer acceptable. Thereby, the applicants must use the integrative architecture, which include City OS to efficiently enable data interoperability. In short, this is a way of making city connected. So connected city is a vision. And PPP is a fundamental means, as I mentioned. So not a single municipality or a single company can do it. They have to form a group. And the group can apply, must apply for national strategic special zone to facilitate new technologies based upon the citizens' agreement. So in terms of the order, the solution set must be formulated. Then the digital solution set has to be agreed upon by the citizens. And then the city can apply for the waiver from the national laws and regulations. Oftentimes in Japan, the old laws and regulations are the constraints to implement digital solutions. But this is a way of leapfrogging the old legal regime to come up with more futuristic state of the city. And a unique feature is that the city must nominate architect or architects that can be a group of people who can serve as a total producer of the project. The typical person named as an architect is someone knowledgeable about citizens' needs, technologies, laws and regulations, city management, at least at the general level, so that they can connect the dots to come up with the total solution. And we are expecting about 5 cities will be chosen as a super city by the end of this fiscal year, which is March in Japan. And the number is not specified yet. So we are expecting the number like 5. There could be 5, more than 5, maybe 10. It has to be decided by the government. And the brownfield approach and the greenfield approach are both acceptable. And to show it in a picture, this is the kind of a super cities architecture, and 5 solutions. These are just examples. 5 solutions must be chosen. And then most importantly here, you really have to have data exchange layer, data linkage platform, or, there are different names of it, but some way of exchanging different kinds of data back and forth so that we can create more integrated solution using data. And this will necessitate the application for the National Strategic Special Zone. So once the waiver for the laws and regulations is applied, the Prime Minister will take care of it, coordinating the relevant ministries in Japan. So the applicants do not need to go to ministries one by one. And here is the architectural picture of the super city where the potential companies are mapped, so-called chaos map for the Super City Open Lab. So the Japanese government launched the Super City Open Lab to match the needs from citizens and the seeds from the companies. And probably you can see the famous companies from Japan here, NEC, NTT, or Hitachi, or Fujitsu, and so forth. Those guys are already interested in this project. And so far, 56 cities indicated the initial interest in the application for the super cities. The number may increase, but again, those who will be selected will be somewhere around 5. And here's the timeline. So we started the process already, and then legal process has been done by September. So it's already enacted. And the special zone treatment is also revised. So we are ready to go. And the cities are now recruiting partner companies, and then they are forming kind of teams already. And the applications process will begin in December this year and ending up around February, March. The dates are not specified yet. And then the conclusion will be announced in March. So it's a designation of the super city zone, right? So the ones chosen, the Japanese government will support the named super city zones to come up with the national flag super city. And the story doesn't end just naming the super city. then the aim of the Japanese government is to duplicate the methodologies or models laid out by the super cities to elsewhere in Japan for the formation of new smart cities. So the city OS is one of the key ideas we are now implementing. Rather than having cities have separate different operating system in place, we'd like to have common policies for the city OS. Thereby, all cities can exchange data for the multiple directions. And we are going to implement the smart city ideas based upon this data interoperability capabilities. In Japan, also would like to standardize the idea internationally to expand super city ideas globally. And this is kind of a timeline from the bigger sense. So we started from here back in 2019 in Osaka G20 summit. We announced that data free flow with trust. This kind of the data concept we initiated in Japan. And with that idea in mind, we started to construct smart city reference architecture, the playbook for smart cities, and also established public-private partnership platform for the coordination, and we established a global alliance of the cities for implementing smart cities. Now we are moving on to the implementation of the super cities, which will be running in parallel to the acceleration of the digital government in Japan, particularly in the age of the COVID-19. Then we'd like to more harmonize the orchestrate the process with the international standardization. So this is the area where we are. And then in April next year, the World Economic Summit will run the first Global Technology Governance Summit in Japan, which is going to also take care of super city, smart city idea, one of the topics. That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you for the listening.
Thank you so much, Tak. This has been very inspiring, hearing from the most important initiative around smart cities right now in Japan. So now we're gonna go to hear from a Spanish project. It's gonna be presented to us by Mr. Juan Echevarria Cuenca from the Santander City Council, and also from Mr. Javier Grueso from the Consorcio Sanitario Integral. Please take the floor.
Thank you, Julia.
In the meantime, I'm inviting our audience to use the Q&A section on the bottom of your screen. So you can start posing questions for the speakers right now for our market consultations that we will be answering during the Q&A session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Welcome to this presentation, and thank you for the organizer for inviting us. We are going to introduce the eCare PCP European project and its call for tender. The agenda of this presentation has been divided in 3 parts. In the first part, I'm going to explain the aim, scope, and the main facts of the project. In the second part, my colleague Javier is going to talk about the next steps, which contains important practical information for interested procurers. And finally, we will be at your disposal for any question you may have. You can put them in the chat, but also you can go through the website if we don't have enough time for them. Let's start with the first part. I'm Juan, Innovation Technical Manager at Santander City Council. In order to present the problem, longevity is one of the biggest achievements of modern societies. However, population aging has profound implications for the planning and delivery of health and social care.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt you. We cannot see your screen. So can you make sure that that's
yes.
sharing? Can you share?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, perfect. We can see your screen.
Okay, now?
Excellent.
Okay, thank you very much for helping me. Okay, I was saying that in order to present the problem, that longevity is one of the biggest achievements of modern society, but it has some drawbacks. Population aging has profound implications for the planning and delivery of health and social care. Spending on medical care is currently growing faster than resources available. It may produce a poor quality of life in these latest years when life expectancy rises. Perhaps the most problematic expression of population aging is the clinical condition of frailty. Older people living with frailty are at risk of dramatic change in the physical and mental well-being after an apparently minor event, such as an infection or a new medication. Research experiences suggest frailty as a manageable condition, and therefore there may be opportunities along its pathway to prevent, halt, reverse, and manage its adverse consequences and worsening. Although frailty prevalence, as far as we know, no country has adopted a systematic process for the surveillance or monitoring of this condition. Let's go to some facts. 1 in 4 adults over 85 years old is living with frailty. People with frailty are at risk of developing conditions such as anxiety and depression. Frail adults, older adults, are likely to experience recurrent falls. And frailty does not occur in silos. It usually comes along associated with other risk factors such as loneliness. The main goal of the project is to deliver disruptive digital solution for the prevention and comprehensive management of frailty, to encourage independent living, well-being, and also to relieve health and care services budget pressure. This is a shared goal among the 4 procuring organizations, and the needs need to be addressed in full, also considering local specific, because some of them are focused on health and others in social care. The 4 procurers are from Italy, Poland, Spain, giving a service to a total of more than 1.4 million people. The total budget for the procurements is near 4 million euros. During the previous phase of the project, we have identified a series of unmet needs related to frailty management, classified in several dimensions. There are plenty amount of solutions in the market, but none of them addresses two elements that we consider important, that they address all the dimensions that we consider, and it is they are made in an integrated and interoperable way with existing system, which is perhaps even more important. As a starting point is needed to clarify what is frailty and which is its definition in the context of the ECARE project. This is important because there are different definitions of frailty, and from the point of view of the ECARE procurers, we understand frailty as an age-related state. We focus on old adults suffering from decreased physiological reserves that lead to weak response to stress situations. And also it's important, it is a dynamic process. So we consider pre-frailty, frailty, and all the intermediate states. The procurers expect to achieve a solution that addresses all these dimensions: frailty and pre-frailty detection, providing technology solutions for its detection, capacity autonomy to manage critical events and emergencies, alerting in order to prevent and better manage these critical events, psychological and emotional support, moving towards holistic solution to address frailty prevention, access to social and healthcare services, which with monitoring and performance evaluation system to improve the user experience, cognitive and functional decline support, developing and implementing sustainable multimodal and multidimensional interventions. Also, critical condition management, conveying the shift to a user-centered interventions, end user education and empowerment, enabling user empowerment to self-manage their condition by means of education and training. Also, sorry, social and healthcare system integration, facilitating effective continuum care across a range of health and care services. IT adoption, ensuring engagement and technology acceptance by the target user for the solution to be commercially successful. And finally, data management and interoperability, enhancing interoperability to overcome technology silos. For clarifying all these aspects, in the call for tenders and also in the website, the procurers are describing the needs and expectation in form of specification, functional requirements, but also providing use cases and process models. Detailed information, as I said, is in the website. Thank you. Now I leave the floor to my colleague, Javier Grueso.
Hello, I'm Javier Grueso. I am CIO in the Consortium Sanitari Integral, that is a public social and health organization in Barcelona. Next, please, one. We will see a very quick overview of the PCP process. As you know, the PCP is a competitive process, and during the phases, you can compare the pros and the cons of the alternative solutions approaches and the risks, the promising innovations, step by step via solution design, prototyping, and development, and first product testing. There are 4 phases. The first one is that design the solution. After the publication of the tender, 8 suppliers expect to be funded with a minimum of 3 to develop a detailed specification of the proposed solution with technical, economic, and organizational requirements of the suppliers. The expected output is a detailed report describing the solution and a detailed plan for the prototyping and testing activities in phase 2 and 3. The period is 6 months and the budget is 392,000 euros. The phase 2 is for develop the prototype systems where 4 suppliers expect to be funded to develop the most promising ideas into well-defined prototypes. And the expected output will be a prototype specification and a prototype demonstration. The period of this phase will be 10 months, and the budget is 1,960,000 euros. The phase 3 is the development and testing of the pilots, where 2 suppliers will be funded to implement and assess the prototypes in the real-world conditions. We will test in the 4 sites or where are the 4 procurers. The procurers are from Poland, Italy, Portugal, and Spain. And the period are 12 months, and the budget is 1,568,000 euros. The 4th phase is deployment of the commercial solution that is out of the scope of the ACARE project. It will be an PPI after this project. Next one, please. You can see the tentative timeline. Now we are in the open market consultation, October and November 20. We are preparing the call for tender for March and April next year. The phase 1 will be July and December of 21. The phase 2 in March, in December and 22, and the phase 3 from March 23 until February and 24. This planning needs to approval from European Commission yet. Please one, next. Okay. The offers will be presented via electronic way, via platform, with different sections like administrative, technical, and financial. In the technical part, must describe the planning, the innovation, the existing rights, business plan, risks, etc. The official language is English. Next one. Thank you. The tender is open to all types of operators, companies with legal entities, from a single company to a joint tender of different companies via consortia. Next one. We are working now defining and developing the exclusion, selection, and compliance and award criteria for the tender. Next one, please. As I said before, we are now in the open market consultation that aims to bring the market perspective to the procurement process in the way that the procurers can prepare an effective pro-innovation tendering approach and the suppliers to prepare competitive offers. Next one. Okay. Here you can see different activities we are planning and doing in the open market consultation phase. All there are available in our website. Next and last one. Okay, these are our contact details, our website, and our email.
Thank you so much. This has been very good. Thank you, Juan and Javier, to see how these tenders can be used to address also health challenges that cities are facing. Now we're going to go to Vienna. Mr. Klaus Kodidek is going to present our last market consultation. Please, Klaus.
All right. Oops, did it work? Okay, there you go. Hello from Vienna. My name is Klaus Kodidek, and today I'm representing Dr. Anna-Vera Deinhammer and Claudia Schrenk. And what I'm going to do within the next 10 minutes is, on the one hand, introduce you to the DoTank Circular City that we are currently setting up and launching next year. And then in the second part of the presentation, I'm going to introduce you to the Public Procurement Challenge that we are launching together with the EÖB. So in this first part, I'm gonna very quickly run you through the DoTank Circular City, where this whole Public Procurement Challenge is embedded in. I'm gonna give you a short overview. Like currently, we are facing a climate crisis, and the massive consumption of raw materials. And with the DoTank Circular City, we try to reduce the raw material consumption. And this we try to do in a way that we have this interplay of the climate protection, the adaptation to climate change, and the resource conversation, because we strongly believe that it needs those three equal goals. The focus of the DoTank for the next 10 years will be to foster a lowering of the greenhouse gas emissions, as well as radical resource conservation, in order to protect our natural resources and to finally act within our planetary boundaries. And since setting this DoTank up, very often we are asked how much CO2 we're saving with our circular strategies and with our circular actions. And when faced these questions, what we try to do is to shift the conversation from this CO2 debate, which is of course a very important one, and we shift it to the resource savings that we're implementing by implementing circular strategies. Of course, this greenhouse gas emission savings is a very positive side effect, but what we try to emphasize here is that with our circular activities, the basis is the resource saving activities. Like I said earlier, all actions and strategies that we will roll out with the DoTank must protect the climate. because we are seeing this with global warming as a consequence of a lack of climate protection. And therefore, we as a city administration must set actions that protect our climate. And we in Vienna are doing so by setting different actions. For example, the cool streets that we've launched last year and this year, where we are reconfiguring public space towards a more pedestrian-friendly space, where we are planting trees and also having cooling actions, but we also must adapt our built environment. And there is no doubt that we need this strong focus on decarbonization, because this must be our overall and overriding goal if we want to preserve our natural habitat.
Just to let you know, sorry, I'm interrupting, that we are still seeing the beginning of the cover of the presentation.
Oh, okay. Is it working now?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so as I was just saying, there's no doubt that we need the decarbonization, but it also, and there we come to this second point, which is the climate crisis adaptation. As we are seeing also in Vienna, the events of heavy rainfalls, longer periods of heat, and the urban heat island effects. And therefore, we need to set also actions in this area. And this is also the focus of the do tank. So here we closely work together with urban renewal projects such as the Vinoy Plus program, which is a 10-year urban renewal program running parallel to the do tank program. Or, for example, actions as the Tröpfelbad, which is a climate-friendly adaptation of a market square in the 20th district. So let's take a close look at the do tank, the main core, which is the resource conservation, and as climate protection is tackled by departments, for example, like the energy department, and climate crisis adaptation is tackled by the technical urban renewal department or the urban planning department. Circular economy so far isn't tackled by any department, and therefore, and this is how, or when the do tank comes in, that tries to focus on the issue of circular economy. And this is strongly relevant because due to our high standard of living, we've also had a massive consumption of primary resources. And if we want to keep up the standard, we must shift to secondary resources. But as of right now, and this is where the EUB challenge comes in, the market is a little too little. And this is why we are launching the challenge, which I'll be talking a little bit later on. I'm just going to run you on the 3 domains that the do tank will be functioning. We try to tackle circular economy on a socioeconomic level, also in the urban design part. It needs that integral planning process, and we're aware that also we need to change how buildings are built in the future so that they can be deconstructed easily in the future. Just our vision real quickly. We try to focus on the collaboration. We try to collaborate with universities. So we have this shift and this knowledge exchange between theory and practice, also with the construction industry. And innovation is super important as this interdisciplinary approach is needed in order to have this integral planning process. And what's a main goal of the do tank is to initiate and scale. And this is also why we work closely together with urban renewal projects such as Vinoy Plus. And we do this because we want to foster resilience, prosperity, and livability in order to implement the circular city. And here's just a really quick program structure. As I just said, we'll have the network and exchange with the Vinoy Plus program, for example. It will start next year in the 10th district. There we're closely working together with the Viennese public transport system, who have a train station there, which they will optimize. And we've launched workshops also together with another company, the ÖSW, which is Building Association, in order to have this renovation in a more circular way. We work with Viennese municipal departments in the digitization part in order to have the digital twin, for example, or the digital construction submission. And as I mentioned, the connection with parts. And now I'm switching to the challenge that we've launched together with the EOB. As I mentioned earlier, in order to have good pilot projects, there needs to be a self-sustaining market and therefore we've launched the EOB challenge, where the main question is how an economically self-sustaining marketplace looks like that creates the condition for a recyclable construction industry. What we want to launch with this challenge is an Europe-wide marketplace or a platform for reuse in construction and materials. And here this challenge will run until November 29th. And the goals are to create a model that is accepted by the market and self-supporting, as I just said, and have different actors from the construction sector that can advertise and sell their relevant services and products on that platform, but also to have secondary materials launched on this platform. And I want to conclude my presentation with a quote, I hope you can see it, namely by Bernhard Jarolim, who said, we finally need to realize that we have to get along with finite resources in an infinite time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Klaus. Very good representation. We've heard projects from all over the world. I would like to throw a question to our presenters, the speakers that we've heard from now. So if there's one company or a research organization that's heard from your projects and it's really interesting for them, they want to participate and take part and have a chance to be one of the awarded 10 bids, what do you advise them to do next? So if they want to reach out to you, if they want to engage, what's the best for your projects, for the companies who are interested? I'm going to start throwing the question. Let's do it the opposite way. Klaus, what's the best for a company to do if they want to work with Vienna, for example?
As I just said, we're launching this challenge, which will run until the 29th. I can post a link in the chat. And what we're looking for is this self-carrying business model. For example, as Rotor in Brussels is doing it with the Opalis network, where there's this network where different construction companies can launch their reused building materials, and then that this market gets wider. So what we are really looking forward to have innovative companies apply to this challenge with their innovative business models. And what we're striving to look, or what we're hoping to get with this challenge, is innovative business cases that scale the market for second-hand building materials. So
Okay.
we would very much look for business models that boost secondary building materials in order to shift from the use of primary resources to secondary resources.
Perfect. Next, for a question for Juan and Javier. I guess right now you are looking to receive actual interest, right? The call for the market consultation is open at the moment.
Yes, and that was the advice I wanted to give, that as we are now in the open market consultation, I suggest the procurers or the potential procurers to be active and to contact, establish a communication with us through the web and the channels, the contact channels we have provide, in order to explain us the solution and the possibilities in an earlier stage, not to wait until February when the call for tenders starts. You have to finish the conversation. So it's better and it's fair and advisable to do it now.
Perfect. Tak, question for you now. What's the best way also for international companies that maybe are not so familiar with Japan, how can engage with your project?
All right. So the companies outside of Japan interested in the super city application in Japan must first specify which city in Japan they want to collaborate with, because it's the city specific project. Thereby, the cities are all different. Actually, some cities are focusing on the healthcare, others are more focused on the mobility, some others are interested in startups. So based upon the capability of the company must specify which city they are looking into. Secondarily, the company should establish some kind of alliance with a Japanese partner to overcome the cultural barriers or the language barriers and so forth. Without such kind of channels of communication, I think it's going to be a little bit tough for the foreign companies to penetrate the Japanese market.
Perfect. Well, I'll use the intro to say that if there's Catalan companies interested in the opportunity, they can reach out to Axio to help them with our office in Japan to help them find the best partner for the opportunity. What about Kaisa? The market consultation is closing. Actually the tender is opening in December. Yep. So do you advise, I guess, for the companies to directly start building the offer with other partners, or can they do it by themselves?
Yes, it doesn't matter that we are not stressing either that individual or that consortiums. It's up to companies. It doesn't matter. So, but I would like to, because it's in only 2 weeks until that we are publishing the tender. So I would like to, and unfortunately there is not all the materials are not available in the website, but when they are released, I really hope that they start to also find out those data which the cities are now offering, but also asking that what kind of plans or possibilities is to open some data sets that they would like to use in the part of their solution. So we have a tech at ai4cities.eu, the email address where we are answering or looking for that, waiting for the questions regarding the technology, and we try to find out the good answer for that and relevant answers to the companies as well. So they but they have to now wait for the 2 weeks until that these materials are published, and then we are going to have those events where we are also explaining and answering the questions.
Very, very good advice. Also, when a company is interested in the opportunity to see events, informative events, and sometimes we've seen that there's matchmaking platforms to be aware of all these tools that are there for them to be used. So
yeah, we have also that matchmaking tool on the website, and addition to those pitching events.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you to all our speakers from the market consultations. I will now propose to move to our second block of presentations, which are the open tenders. We've said it before, but just to give a refresh. In this case, the next 4 presentations, the next 4 projects are all the project requirements have been settled. The projects in this case, the tenders have already been settled. The requirements are already decided, and that's the functional features of the solutions, also the guidelines for the presentation for the bidders so they can present their offers, and the assessment criteria and maximum size of the contracts. So there you go. We will have 4 presentations. We will have Mr. Eduard Soler Alonso from Parc Taulí Research and Innovation Institute. And then we're gonna hear from Mr. Hiroyuki Suzuki from the Advanced Telecommunications Research Institute International from Japan. Third, we're gonna hear from Mr. Jaime Garzón from EBMAPS, which is the government agency that manages the water system in Quito, in Ecuador. And the last presentation is gonna come from Ms. Beatriz Casado from the Institute for Business Competitiveness of Castilla y León in Spain, and from Mr. Antonio Sepúlveda from INCIBE, which is the Spanish National Cybersecurity Institute. So, Eduardo, please take the floor.
Hello. Should I start?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you very much for letting this opportunity to present this enormous project we are launching in our hospital. Basically, I'm working in the innovation department, and we are transforming the hospital emergency care through innovative digital solutions. This is under public funds from the European Union, and let's go to the details. I would like to start with a question. How long can you wait in an emergency department for a non-urgent condition? This is a situation that we all have been involved at least one time in our life, and it's a situation that normally is not really desirable for nobody, being with a non-urgent condition. In Spain, the level of severity of the condition is what determines the average waiting time. For example, things like heart attack or sepsis are immediately treated, but things like bone fracture, eye pain, and those conditions less severe, they can last from 2 to 4, and for those ones that are less severe, more than hours, 8 hours waiting in the emergency department. This is often results with low quality perceived by those patients that are in this situation. This problem is a global problem. There has been literature trying to correlate crowding in the emergency department with patient outcomes, as well mortality with the length of the hospital, or association waiting time with the short term of the mortality. But it seems difficult to correlate waiting time with death. So definitely our system is designed to treat the urgent condition. But waiting time directly affects the quality of care perceived, especially for those patients that are waiting a long time in the emergency department. In the other side of the coin, the expenditure in the emergency care is increasing by year. So more resources, more staff, and in the end, having these kind of results with these patients, then there is no more sense to increase the resources. There is a need to rethink how we treat in the emergency department. So in our hospital, Park Taulib, we came to the conclusion that there is a need to improve the quality of care for non-critical patients in emergency department. About the tender, we are a hospital near to Barcelona in the metropolitan area. The first logo is the logo of the hospital, and the second logo is the research institute where I'm working and who coordinates all the tender. As I told you before, this is under European fund grant, then we apply it. And we are happy to say that we have 6 projects under this call. We are the hospital in Catalonia with more projects. And this is the first project, then the one that I'm explaining today is the first project that we are launching. So somehow we are kind of beginners. This is our pilot, our testing. And what you can see is the website where you can check the details of all the tenders. But by the way, right now there are just 2 of them open. Why public procurement and innovation? Because first of all, because we are searching the best talent. We had some companies doing some proposals to us to solve the need, but we were looking for those ones that are really the best. And this is why we are applying to a public tender. And the second, because it's a fast way to adopt technology, because all the hospital is involved, the direction is involved, the emergency department is involved in the designing of the solution. So it's a super fast way to adopt technology. And finally, because it impulses the innovation and development through risk sharing with companies, because both we as a hospital and the company invest in this process, so we are both risking that the company is receiving a contract to fulfill most of the cost, but in somehow they also invest part of the resources in order to scale these to other hospitals. So for those now talking to the tender, the objective of this tender is to transform the emergency department into a more effective, more efficient and safe process that results in higher quality of care perceived by the patients. This is quite a generic word, but in the end we are searching for an innovative digital solution for decision support in the emergency department. So this is more attackable for companies. For those that are interested, I will explain how the emergency department workflow looks like. First, start with the admission, and in 10 minutes you have a triage where a nurse selects your severity. The level 1 and 2 are the most immediately treated, and the level 4 and 5 are 4, 5, 6 hours waiting. Then they go to the doctor visit. The doctor orders tests to the nurse, as well some recommendations, and finally, evaluating the results, they discharge the patient or go inpatient. Our proposal is to have a different workflow for those less severe patients, and with the creation of the ARA unit. The ARA unit is basically managed by a nurse who is empowered with the ARA system. And this ARA system is basically what we are trying to achieve in this tender. The nurse, together with the ARA system and with the doctor, will decide which tests are the best, and will decide finally, the doctor, if discharge the patient or go inpatient. So as you see, it's a fast track for those patients with less severe conditions. Details about the tender. The contract is estimated of 265,000 euros. It's co-financed by federal funds, so there is a need to justify invoices. The deadline of applying is really soon, but still time to write proposals on the 30th of November, and is a 2 years contract until October 22. For those that are not familiar with the process, we started with a preliminary consultation last year, and now we are publishing the tender. After, we will start the negotiation, choosing the best candidate. Then this candidate will have 12 months to develop the project, and will have 6 months for implementing and validating. Critical requirements for this project are: the solution needs to enhance the autonomous role of the nursing staff. It's a solution that needs to be 100% integrated with the informatics system of the hospital. It needs to facilitate the workflow, enhance reduction of expenditure through less unnecessary tests, and it needs to be scalable to other hospitals. So it needs to be framed in a way that is easy and with the standards for integration in other centers. Nothing more to tell. I will be open to your questions. Some information here, important information, and we also have some publications in our newsletter about all the detailed information in these links that I will be happy to talk with you. So hope to see you.
Thank you so much, Eduard. Very interesting to hear from a super fresh tender, only 12 days to go to present a proposal. So I guess some of the people in the audience had already heard of this project. If you are looking to present a proposal, it's the perfect time to ask directly to Eduard Soler. So now we're moving to our next open tender, which is coming from Mr. Hiroyuki Suzuki from the Advanced Telecommunications Research Institute International in Japan. Thank you, Hiroyuki.
Okay, hello, I'm Suzuki of ATL. Thank you very much for joining this event today. I will introduce Keihan Science City to you, which I think is an ideal access to the Japanese market and tech society. Keihan Science City is located in the western part of Japan, more specifically in the middle of Kyoto, Osaka, and Nara. And more than 150 R&D related organizations are locating in the city, such as universities and governmental research institute and R&D centers of big companies. You may find quite familiar names of Japanese companies in the figure at the right-hand side. Keihan Science City is a place where Smart City Expo has been held in collaboration with Villa Barcelona for the last 7 years. And Keihan Science City is also a key player of the Kansai region, selected as one of the 4 global startup cities of Japan by the Japanese government in July this year. Keihan Science City has conducted various types of POC with local residents in the field of smart city, such as energy, healthcare, agriculture, mobility, and municipal services for the last 10 years. This means that Keihan Science City is a POC-friendly city, and you can count on local residents as subject to carry out POC and pilot testing using your products and services. ATL has a very wide global research collaboration network. In fact, we have accepted more than 2,700 overseas researchers from 67 countries for the last 30 years, including internships from Stanford, MIT, various Canadian universities, and 2 grandes écoles in France every year. In addition, about 1/4 of the current researchers in ATL are coming from outside Japan. We have also constructed Global Innovation Collaboration Network for the last 4 years. The network is composed of more than 460 organizations, including about 190 overseas organizations in 17 countries. Core partners of this network are Barcelona for Smart City, Israel for Brain Tech and the startups, New York City for startup support, Canada for AI and robotics, and India for startups. Thanks to a successful collaboration, we signed MOUs with our core global innovation partners, Barcelona Activa, Israel Innovation Authority, Confederation of Indian Industry, Entrepreneurs Roundtable Accelerator in New York, and National Research Council of Canada between 2017 and 2020. We are also working very closely with Japan External Trade Organization, JETRO. So what we try to achieve is first to construct 2-dimensional collaboration network acting Keihan Science City as a hub, so that, for instance, a Barcelona startup can find a partner in Canada and an investor in United States through our programs, and then to connect this network to the Japanese market and tech society. This is the outline of Keihan Plus, the acceleration program in Keihan Science City, which ATL is conducting. Keihan Plus is composed of 3 parts: a local challenge, main program, and special program. A local challenge is a pitch event held in each country or cities to select startups for Keihan Plus. The main program lasts 3 months, carried out twice a year in summer and winter, in combination on online and offline. However, a Keihan Plus program this year, of course, carried out totally online because of COVID-19. We set the POC or pilot tests with Japanese companies, a hospital, as a goal. Selected 5 startups are accessible to our global partners, such as Barcelona Activa, and Entrepreneur Roundtable Accelerator in New York City to have a 1-week special program to find a chance to expand their business globally. This is a list of the 35 startups participated in KGA Plus, batch 1 and 3, which were held for the last 1.5 years. They were selected from 7 countries in collaboration with our global partners in Barcelona, Israel, India, Hong Kong, Canada, USA, and Japan. We started KGA Plus batch 4 last week with 13 startups from 6 countries: Israel, India, USA, Canada, Finland, and Japan, to support their business in the Japanese market. You can classify the 35 startups in terms of field of technology, as shown in this slide. These startups belong to 12 categories, from robotics to construction tech and manufacturing, which you might think rather diverse. This is because we did not select them based on their field of technology, but selected them by the following 2 criteria. The first one is that they need to have product and service enough to carry out a POC, which, as I mentioned, is the goal of KGA Plus. And the second one is that overseas startups need to have interest in business in Japan, while Japanese startups need to have interest in overseas business. We have succeeded in matching of 30 startups out of 35 startups with companies and hospitals in Japan, meaning at the percentage of as high as 86%. There are some examples. These are some examples of companies and hospitals matched with 30 startups. Please note that some of these companies are coming from Tokyo. This means that our innovation ecosystem covers the Tokyo area too. Okay, this is a list of management team and our global mentors. I'm acting as program director and working with my colleague Nakajima and Maki, acting as leader mentor and the program manager, respectively. Our mentors have various expertise and help startups find right partners and establish business in Japan. KGA Science City is also a place with various key technologies for the new era of aging and the new normal life and societies, such as brain tech, emotion tech, robotics, IoT, AI, food tech, agriculture, agri-tech, and smart city. As well as a place for implementing state-of-art technologies for human life innovations. We have already working with these fields with countries depicted in the figure. Finally, I want to mention that we will have a big event in 5 years, namely Expo 2025, Osaka, Kansai, in which we are expected to play a major role in terms of innovation and state-of-the-art technologies. These pictures were taken during the various activities in KGA Plus, which are carried out in Kyoto, Barcelona, and New York City. I hope I could convince you that the KGA Science City has various opportunities for collaboration in innovation and R&D. We do look forward to working with you to support your business expansion in Japan and to become a member of the KGA Plus family. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Suzuki. Very pleased to see that the international component of these opportunities is embedded from the beginning of this opportunity specifically. And now we're gonna go to Ecuador. First of all, let me thank the speaker for waking up so early today to join us. Mr. Jaime Garzón is joining us from Ecuador from IPMAPS, which is the public agency that manages the water system in the city of Quito. So please, Jaime, take the floor.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jaime Garzón. I represent a drinking water company in Quito, Ecuador, named EMAPS. Today, I'm going to talk to you about using disruptive innovation to reduce leakage water in distribution network. Our objective is to reduce water loss in water distribution network. Nowadays, in our company, we have 7,500 kilometers of distribution pipeline in Quito with different materials like PVC, steel, GRP, asbestos, ductile iron, etc. Much of them have several years of life, so they have leaks that produce us a lot of economic losses and makes it difficult to supply water to the whole city. Water loss is a big problem for drinking water companies in the whole world. It produces an important amount of money lost, and the most important, we waste the vital liquid as a resource for human life and nature. This is the reason for which we are looking for innovative solutions for our problem. Our principal goals are to reduce volume of water losses in each month or in each year, to reduce non-revenue water index. In Latin America, this index is 42% in average. We have 27%, so it is one of the best indexes in the region. However, we want to reduce it at about 20% in some years. The non-revenue water index is formed by two components, commercial losses and physical losses. In Quito, physical losses represents more than 50% of that index. For that reason, we are looking for select the best leak test method. This new method should be efficient, so we must have a cost reduction of meeting leaks. As a background, in 2018, the Inter-American Development Bank contracted a consultancy to determine capacities in Ecuador to implement innovative public purchases. They screened several public entities and determined that EMAPS has those capacities. So, with the support of Inter-American Development Bank, EMAPS began this project called Zero Leaks. What is our challenge? Our challenge is to develop a solution to optimize resources in visible and non-visible leaks detection in water distribution system in Quito, Ecuador. Nowadays, we are searching leaks in pipeline network through acoustic methods, including correlators, sounding stick, acoustic sticks, and tracer gas. These techniques are the same that the world has been using for the last 50 years. How do we expect for the standard? Innovative solutions. Something different that gives us important time and human resource reduction. So far, we have made a first open consultancy to determine what is in the Ecuadorian market, and a second, with Inter-American Development Bank support, we ask for technology surveillance contract to determine what is in the world market nowadays. After this, we decide to make two pilot projects. The first one is to hire the service of leaks pre-detection with satellite with a synthetic aperture radar. This product uses satellite images that cover large areas. It could be done in day or night, in cloudy or clearly days. It penetrates the first few meters of Earth and using patented algorithm filters out the signature of drinking water and provide these points of interest to the customer. The leaks are displayed in GIS reports, including a street location with a precision of some hundreds of meters. After this process, however, it is necessary to detect leaks with acoustic equipment. And the second one, to hire an APM, Advanced Pressure Management. It consists to enable operators to remotely control and automatically optimize pressure across the entire network. It uses a dedicated patent-protected pilot valve and system control algorithms designed especially to optimize network pressure without introducing bores causing tensions to the network. It uses a full range of control configurations, including fixed downstream pressure, client-defined flow modulation, and automatic optimization of critical point pressures, including no flow meter option. All of these can be scheduled and mixed in daily time profile so that regular and irregular events can be anticipated. Besides these two projects, we want to try new solutions that include at least physical infrastructure timely supervision, advanced techniques in data processing, efficient leaks detection, also measure and diagnostic devices, sensor, camera, drones, mathematic models, algorithms, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data mining, etc. What is our final goal? To develop an innovative product to detect and to find visible and not visible leaks in Quito to increase static pipeline length in a year. Nowadays, we are making 20% base situation and optimize hydraulic resource related with currently used techniques. Finally, we're going to call a tender maybe in February 2021 to a public procurement of innovation. We're going to do this in 3 steps. The first one, we will select 4 partners to develop solutions with the MAPS collaboration. We will give the necessary information to our partners, and we will guide the possible solution with a technique offered for each one. The second one, we will select 2 partners of the previous 4 to develop a prototype model. This prototype model will be put into operation, and we will be ready to analyze results for everyone. Finally, we will select one of them to implement the solution in one hydraulic zone in our distribution network. The select solution must be the most accurate solution, the most efficient, and the most cost-effective in order to achieve our goals. So, if you are a technology industry related with hydraulic issues, with innovative ideas in drinking water solutions, and you are interested in participate, please pay attention for the call of tender in February 2021. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Jaime. In this occasion, we saw a specific problem that a public institution has, and they're open to a wide range of technologies to solve them. So again, this is one of the characteristics of pre-commercial procurement, where it's open to the solution providers to propose their way of solving this problem. So our final presentation for today is gonna come from Ms. Beatriz Casado from the Institute for Business Competitiveness of Castilla y León in Spain. And following her, we will have Mr. Antonio Sepúlveda from INCIBE, the Spanish National Cybersecurity Institute. Thank you.
So good morning. Thank you very much to Axio for inviting us to take part in this event. It's really a good place and opportunity for us to present some of the initiatives we are involved from the Business Competitiveness Institute of Castilla y León, which is an innovation agency. Our main goal is to promote this business competitiveness through innovation, financing, and other instruments, and of course, specialized services for SMEs and companies. From 2014-2015, we identified the public procurement innovation and a strategic tool for us to promote the business innovation, creating a more collaborative and innovative ecosystem in our region that could contribute to face the challenges of Castilla y León. The main reasons to consider for us were first, that the regional development agencies and similar instruments have a very concrete knowledge of the R&I environment and existing capacities, And second, a very important issue, for many years we have been working from the innovative supply side, giving incentives for R&D projects and often with little impact on the markets. So we need to be more effective, we need more impact in the use of the public resources allocated for business innovation. So we decided to plan an integral strategy and decided to allocate specific funds in our operational program for public procurement innovation. Our strategic view, in one hand, the public sector can stimulate the deploy of completely new innovative solutions that do not exist in the market today, aligned with the main challenges that we have as a region. Health, agricultural, tourism, or heritage or cybersecurity in the case of Castilla y León. And on the other hand, the public sector can also act as an innovator from the demand and, what is more important, as an early adopter of innovative solutions, being the first customer, driving the market, guiding the business R&D to solve important social and technological challenges. In the case of cybersecurity, that is a very technological field, of course, the focus also was to evolve the technology and the state of art, aligned with the specific needs of the sector. But also we decide to address pre-commercial procurement by not the outcomes, but the process of innovation with different stages and suppliers. Shortly, our strategy in ICE includes 3 types of actions. First, a catalytic public purchase in which the purchasing entity ICE is not the final user of the innovation, but acquires them for the use of other public bodies. And these public bodies act as an end users that will act as an expert during the process. So for us, the first question that we have to address internally and we have to face was buying for what, and also buying for whom and why we are buying for others. So we try to identify the cybersecurity as an important sector to attract innovation to Castilla y León, because it's one of our emblematic flagship initiatives in the context of the smart specialization strategy. And also we could count with INCIBE as an expert because they are located in León in this specific purchase. At the same time, we are working with another entities, as I mentioned, of Castilla y León, with another public bodies related with other sectors. Second, in this plan, we have an action directly implemented by ICE and a smart tool or platform to virtualize services for SMEs and entrepreneurs, and also to connect in an open innovation all our stakeholders, because our main challenge in Castilla y León is the territory. We are really the 3rd biggest region as the European Union. So we need to virtualize our services to establish more connections and crossover among all the stakeholders, and of course to attract talent. Hopefully this tender will be next year. And also we are working in another actions to advise, stimulate and to promote the public procurement innovation in Castilla y León. We have contracted technical office to deploy all these actions until 2023. And finally, so where we are at the moment. On the basis of the work carried out by INCIBE, we have defined and chosen 4 challenges. And a significant progress and work has been made on the 4 challenges in terms of the economic definition and the specification. The funds and the tender, of course, will be from ICE and with the crucial participation of INCIBE. INCIBE acts as an expert in the definition of the challenges, of the technical specification, of the economic quantification, and also they will participate during all the stages of the pre-commercial public procurement as the technical expert. A call for tender is imminent in the challenge 2, that the definition is the identification of onion domains in the Tor network not indexed by public sources, and will be the first innovative public purchase in cybersecurity in Spain. In my side, no more to say. I want to pass the word now to Antonio Sepúlveda, my colleague from INCIBE, that will explain much better than me the specific part of cybersecurity, and I want to give him a special thanks. So thank you for your attention.
Antonio.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear? Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Antonio Sepulveda. As Beatriz said, I work for the Spanish Cybersecurity National Institute, and I will continue with the presentation of this initiative for collaboration between Business Competitiveness Institute and Spanish Cybersecurity National Institute. And just as you can see on the screen, this is a roadmap from the completion of the preliminary market consultation phase to publication of one of the 4 challenges of the initiative. In March of this year, the preparation of the public specification begins, precising those corresponding to Challenge 2. Similarly, we were to have a map of agents related to the challenges, and during the summer, we worked on summary sheets and the analysis of the 4 challenges. We had worked 2 months on the sheet of functional specifications and the final report for Challenge 2. And now we are preparing the presentation of Challenge 2 and the map of early demand for the rest of the challenges, Challenges 1, 3, and 4. Finally, we plan to launch the purchase of Challenge 2 during the next month. Okay. Second slide. Okay, this is a This is a view of the early demand of the initiative. On the left, you can see the detail on the first challenge that will be public. Challenge 2, identification of onion domains in the Tor network not indexed by public sources. This first challenge will have 2 phases. The first one, research phase, with a maximum of 4 contractors, will last 7 months. The second one, a development phase with a maximum of 2 contractors, will last 6 months. These are the maximum budgets reserved for each phase. The main result of the project will be a software prototype with a TRL of 6, that is a technological readiness level of 6. On the right, you can see the future, the launch of the rest of the challenges during the next year. Challenge 1, a challenge related to botnet networks, identification of bots and botnet servers. Challenge 3, a challenge related to cyber attacks, identification, categorization, and prediction of cyber attacks. And the last one, the challenge 4, a challenge related to the previous one, but in this case, searching for the responsible for the attack, okay, and advanced services for the attribution of cyber incidents. If you need more information about these challenges, please attend the webinar that we are going to organize in November or December. The start date is still pending, okay? The last slide, a little more detail about the first challenge, focus on Tor network, the Onion router network. The challenge is to identify hidden services in Tor that cannot be found in public sources, check their status, discover new illegal services, and then monitor them with our own tools to see where they are located and who the owners are. This type of networks could be used to carry out an attack against a smart city, for example, to attack the electric system of the city. This is the reason why we are working on it. The main objective is to solve the challenge posed through research and development, obtaining an innovative solution that allows discovering and monitoring illegal services hidden in Tor that are not public. There will be 2 phases. The main result of the first one is a software prototype. The contractor will have to demonstrate its viability. We expect a TRL between 3 and 4, and then during the phase 2, development phase, the 2 best contractors will develop their solution, and we expect an evolution up to TRL6. Well, this brings me to the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Antonio. In this presentation, I have to congratulate Castilla y León. Very bold move, using investment attraction through in a similar way that we've seen from Japan to attract talent and new companies into the region by using a first client, which what's the best way to expand if it's not through a client. So very interesting approach. Well, we have the speakers from our open tenders now here available for questions. I'm going to pose one that some companies that get to us, come to Axio and ask us about these opportunities. This question always pops up, which is what happens with my IP? If somebody, the buyer is funding my R&D, do they retain certain rights, or do I keep all the rights? So what happens with this? I think it's a relevant question for your projects, because you've gone through the definition of the tender and you have had to specify this topic. So I'm going to start with Eduard. How do you approach this in your project?
Okay, for us it's really clear the solution is for the company. So we don't want any IP. So it's a project for the company and the IP is for them. But what we ask for is for a proposal of royalties. So for all the sales that the company is doing, we ask for a percentage that it needs to be negotiated. We don't have a percentage already taken. So, but it's clear that we don't want the IP and it's a product of the company.
Okay, very good. Hiroyuki Suzuki, how do you guys approach this topic?
Okay, the initial case, we do not care about IP. We assume that each company and startup has their own IPs. But if the matching is successful, they start the one-by-one collaboration. So new IP can be produced. So that's divided by the contribution of each parties.
Okay, very. What about the project in Ecuador, Mr. Garzón?
Well, we are open to all the kind of solutions. So we are looking for innovations in leak detection. So we are open for all solutions.
Okay. Do you expect, in terms of intellectual property, is this retained by the companies that apply?
Yes, the company should retain the IP.
Perfect. What about in Castilla y León, Antonio?
I think it's the same thing. The IPs, I don't know exactly, because we are the technological or the technical part of the project, but I think the contractor has part of this IP and is sharing with INCIBE and ICE. I think so.
Okay, I answer just a few words after Antonio answer. It's the same in our case. The property is for the contractor and we work with them with the cession of the exploitation.
Okay, I'm going to do another round of questions. I'm gonna start the opposite way now. Because this is a tender and in the end, the bidders compete against each other to make the most interesting proposal. How important is the cost factor in the proposal? So I would like you to say how important it is in your case, or what is more relevant if you think that something else is more relevant. So the cost, how important it is for your evaluation, and also who is evaluating in your cases. Do you identify a certain group who's doing the evaluation? Do you do it yourselves or a third party? Antonio, Beatriz, you want to start with this question?
In our case, in our project, it's not important the cost or the budget of the proposal. I think for us it's more important the idea and probably the people who is going to participate in the project, but not the cost. For us, is not important.
Okay. If Beatriz, do you want to add anything?
No. We work together. We are a team.
Perfect.
It's the same answer.
Excellent. Mr. Garzón, how is it in your case?
Well, we have several items to qualify the bids. the amount of the bid is important, but in a percentage, maybe it is about 50%. The reference terms are now in approvals of Inter-American Development Bank. So I think it's going to be about 50% of the qualification.
Perfect. And the evaluation is done by yourselves? Have you designed a committee or somebody who's doing this evaluation?
Yes, there is going to be a committee with the participation of IDB and technicals of our enterprise.
Excellent. What about the project in Japan, Mr. Suzuki?
Actually, our project is not relevant to tender up to now, but if, as I mentioned, the matching between the companies are successful, of course, cost is very important to proceed the project.
Of course, makes sense because there's a requirement to go with a lead local partner, so that makes sense. And to finalize, how about the project in emergency care, Eduardo?
Hello. In our case, because we are under the law of public contract, we need to specify very much which percentage will determine the prices and everything. And in our case, it's 35% of the evaluation. So somehow we are not driven by cost, but it's still an important percentage. But about 50 to 60% is about the solution, how likely is the solution. And the maximum cost it shouldn't be is the maximum just.
Yeah, this is very interesting as well. When in pre-commercial procurement, we're talking about bids, and sometimes companies get a bit confused. Is this a grant? What is it? It's a tender. So the maximum size of the contract cannot be exceeded. So it's very stipulated, no? So fixed from the beginning. So thank you very much to our speakers that presented in the open tender section. Anna, do you want to wrap up our session?
Yes, thank you so much. Now it's time to wrap up. We had the pleasure to hear from 8 mature opportunities of public procurement of innovation from all around the world. And I really want to thank the speakers for sharing their market consultation on open tenders. And of course, thank you very much to the audience for joining us today. Hope to see you next year in the Smart City of Barcelona, and take care, please. Thank you very much.